South Africa, ladies and gentlemen, gather close, because what the SIU just exposed isn't just corruption. It's what happens when opacity meets opportunity. For 20 years, yes, 20, parts of the Department of Home Affairs allegedly turned immigration into a side hustle economy. From 2004 to 2024, visas, permits, and residence documents were reportedly treated like tradable commodities. Swipe here, EFT there, cash under the desk, 16.3 million rands in direct bribes to officials. Over 181 million rands in illegal gains facilitated through fake marriages, bogus retirement confirmations, falsified financial proof, and even photo swaps to manipulate identity systems. Photo swap, as in a new face. And the price list, in some cases, 500 rands to 3,000 rands. That was enough to unlock fraudulent paperwork. That's not corruption at luxury level. That's clearance rate corruption, national security on special. High-profile names allegedly exploited the system, including self-proclaimed prophet Shepherd Bushiri and a Nigerian rapper. But, ladies and gentlemen, this was bad, very bad. Let's hear what the SIU had to say about this situation before we continue.
24, an interim report outlining the outcome of our investigation has been submitted to the President, and we are now making the finding publicly available. From May 2024, we conducted search and seizure at Asylum and Fraud Revelation, where a whistleblower brought forward to the SIU allegation that foreign nationals enter South Africa, fraudulently obtain asylum seeker permit, and later use them to apply permanent residence and ultimately citizenship. The SIU received information that this foreigner national collude with syndicate involving corrupt Home Affairs official to secure permits without merit, as permits are issued upon application without assessing the asylum claims. Holders can remain in the country even if their application is rejected by exhausting appeal rights up to the Constitutional Court, regardless of the merits of their application. To investigate, the SIU obtained a special tribunal order, and with the assistance of the Directorate of Priority Crime Investigation, which is the Hawks, we made search on 5 refugee reception centers, where we seized laptops, desktop, cell phone, external drives, and files. 237 items were imaged for cyber forensic analysis, where cell phone analysis revealed communication between officials and foreign nationals, with payments via e-wallet ranging from 500 to 3,000, facilitating the unlawful issuing of permits and visa to unqualified individuals. Payments were made through various methods, cash hidden in application form, with office door closed to avoid cameras, and we also found e-wallet deposit using non-RICA registered or fraudulently RICA registered number, asylum seekers sending e-wallet payments to themselves and providing the OTPs to official, and in-kind payments such as covering official private rent or services. An official used dummy phones to conceal transaction and communication. Then, when coming to officials selling citizenship for fraud, the nefarious syndicate is a coordinated group of department officials responsible for unlawful processing and adjudication and receipt of visa application. However, they have engaged in behavior suggesting systemic corruption and illicit enrichment in violation of the official duties. The SIU can reveal that so far we have uncovered that 4 officials who earn less than 25,000 a month have received a total of 16.3 million in direct deposit. Evidence indicates that certain members of this group have acquired significant assets that are grossly disproportionate to their legal income. This includes the cash purchase of multiple properties and construction of high-value residence development. Some members have developed private properties with the extensive infrastructure, such as large-scale solar installation and spacious parking lots, suggesting access to capital inconsistent with their official salaries. The SIU investigation showed that certain officials turned the permit system into a marketplace. Their modus operandi was simple. Applications were sent via WhatsApp for expedited approval, and once approved, money flowed almost immediately. Payments were not made directly to officials, but funneled through accounts held by their spouses, deliberately disguising the bribe. In one case, a payment was approved on the 20th of December 2021, and on 21 December, 3,000 had then been deposited in the spouse account. In another transaction also, we saw 6,000 transfer days after 2 payments were approved. This transaction revealed a direct link between approval and payments, leaving no doubt that payments were being sold. Officials also operated within syndicate, using intermediaries to collect funds from foreign nationals, and transactions refer as permit and visa processes or building materials were used to mask the true nature of the payments. That is what we saw in their bank statements. Secondary accounts belonging to spouses reveal unexplained cash deposit amounting to hundreds of thousands of rands. The scale of enrichment was staggering. Analysis of construction company registered in the name of one official's husband revealed deposit of totaling 8.9 million between 2020 and 2023. These deposits were inconsistent with legitimate construction business activity and included payment explicitly referenced as PRP, meaning that permanent residence payment. At least 185,000 was directly linked to the PRP application. Officials turned their spouse into silent partners in crime. Another official accumulated so much wealth that she built a mansion and paved a road leading to her home on a monthly salary of 25,000, meaning that official built a tar road to her house. I mean, this is just to show how this official was soliciting money, I mean, with a salary of 25,000. The SIU has also traced financial gains exceeding 181 million associated with beneficiary of fraudulent visa application, which were underpinned by fake documentation.
Here's the uncomfortable truth. Individuals only succeed in exploiting a system that is already weak. And that's where this conversation gets serious. This kind of corruption does not grow in a vacuum. It grows in darkness. It grows where there is no transparency in the application system. It grows where requirements are unclear, inconsistently applied, and dependent on who you know. It grows where applicants have no way to track progress digitally and must rely on intermediaries who whisper there is a faster way. When rules are vague, discretion becomes currency. And then there is the strict visa regime that doesn't account for regional realities. South Africa sits in the heart of SADC. Cross-border trade, movement, and family connections are part of daily life. But when the system treats regional mobility like a suspicious exception instead of an economic reality, it creates friction, and friction creates shortcuts, and shortcuts create bribes. Restrictions, when poorly designed, are an invitation to corruption. Let's look at a global comparison. The United Arab Emirates is one of the highest foreign national populations in the world. Over 85% of residents are foreign nationals, yet illegal immigration levels are comparatively low. Why? Because the visa system is structured, digitized, clear, and commercially aligned with labor demand. You know the requirements, you apply online, you get a predictable answer. The process is strict but transparent. Your visa application results are back to you in days, not months, not years. Transparency kills corruption. When applicants understand the criteria and timelines, they don't need fixers. When decisions are automated and biometrics are integrated into a digital trail, it's harder for an official to whisper, "We can make this disappear." So yes, dismiss the 20 officials, cancel the 2,000 fraudulent visas, roll out smart IDs, accelerate biometric systems. Minister Leon Schreiber says reforms are underway. Good, but reform cannot just be about punishment. It must be about redesign. Because corruption thrives where opacity reigns. If a business permit takes months with no communication, someone will offer a shortcut. If a work visa category doesn't align with regional labor needs, someone will manipulate paperwork. If requirements change without public clarity, middlemen will monetize confusion. And when that happens, corruption stops being an exception. It becomes infrastructure. That's the real scandal here. For 2 decades, parts of Home Affairs allegedly operated like a marketplace. But marketplaces only thrive when supply meets demand. The supply was corrupt officials. The demand was desperate applicants trapped in a system too rigid, too unclear, and too opaque. You cannot fix that with arrests alone. You fix it with a radical transparency. You fix it with clear public checklists. You fix it with real-time application tracking. You fix it with regional visa categories that acknowledge economic reality. You fix it by removing human discretion where technology can do better. Because here is the punchline. When legal pathways are realistic and efficient, illegal pathways lose their value. Restrictions without clarity are not strength. They are invitations. South Africa must choose fortress bureaucracy or intelligence governance. If documents can be bought, identity becomes negotiable. If identity becomes negotiable, sovereignty becomes fragile. If sovereignty becomes fragile, trust collapses. The Special Investigations Unit has done its part. Now, reform must go deeper than press conferences, because this wasn't just corruption. This was a system that forgot sunlight is the best disinfectant. Ladies and gentlemen, subscribe to Mzansi Roast, where we don't just roast the scandal, we roast the system that allowed it.